Hey folks, welcome back to Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin. We're here at Drangleic Castle, the entrance to Drangleic Castle, where we will, hopefully, meet up with Vendrick and figure out what the deal is with this whole curse business. But as you might be able to guess, based on the fact that it's a giant castle, and like a big boss is supposed to be in there, it's going to be a bit of an adventure, and it's going to be heavily guarded. And in some ways that you might not be expecting. Such as elephants. Whoa, dude. Calm down. Yeah, we got statues turning into elephants, or elephants that turned into statues and then back. And these can be... I mean, alone they're not too bad, but when there are two of them and you can't see the guy in the back very easily, it can be a little bit tricky to remain unscathed. Be careful that that kind of tusk attack that they do. That can definitely do quite a bit of damage. It hits twice also, so even if you think you're safe, you might not be. Once you've taken care of one, the other isn't too bad. They're a lot like those giant knights in Hades Tower of Flame, in that they are big and have pretty obvious tells. They hit hard, but if you're only dealing with one, it's pretty easy to tell what they're doing, so you can dodge them. Mastodon leggings, I'll bet those are heavy as heck. Their weight would normally crush a man, but the primal knights wear them as if they were silk, so fearsome is their brute strength. The king restored a forbidden, long-lost art to create these inhuman abominations. So Vendrick got into some shady business in order to create these creatures. And I believe there is another Mastodon item that we'll find inside the castle at some point that will shed some more light onto the creation of them. Now, what was a Mastodon doing in the Doors of Pharos? I don't know. Could not tell you. Maybe Vendrick had some sort of relationship with the Gurms, or was trying to defeat the Gurms or something. I don't know. Anyway, let's get introduced to one of the gimmicks of Drangleic Castle. Watch the souls. Didn't go into me, went into that stone golem, which is now coming to life and operating that mechanism. You'll notice that there's another one over here. So once you activate those two golems, and they have messed with their stuff, they will open the door. And this is a mechanism that you'll see at various points in the castle, the use of these golems. Also, these guys spawn infinitely because you need enemy souls in order to activate the golems, and they don't want you to run out of enemies. But I'll show you back here. There isn't actually anywhere that they're spawning from. I think they might come out of here, even though there isn't actually a door. And there's no prizes or anything. But yeah, enemies will endlessly spawn. I'm fairly certain. There is something on the other side here, though. Great combustion and a fire seed. Is there anything interesting about great combustion? No, there is not. All right. So you'll remember with those mastodons, when we got close to them, they activated. And so here's a trick that the game will play. Some statues are actually statues. Some of them are not. So if you want to be absolutely safe, you would either steer clear of all these statues or get up in every single one of their faces individually and take all of them out. Normally, these guys that are stationed on the outside, they're not going to cause you many problems. But there are some more devious traps later on in the castle. So these golems, they're an interesting set piece. And we will learn more about their creation in just a minute or so when we talk to that NPC up there. But they are intriguing, aren't they?
Who are you? And by whose permission do you stand before me? This castle is the domain of King Vendrick. Is your trespass intentional? His Highness, where has he gone? You are a guest of our castle. I am the Chancellor, Velaga. Do you seek an audience with my lord, King Vendrick? Unfortunately, His Highness is absent. My lord, the King, the Queen has taken him.
So 2 important nuggets of information. 1, Vendrick ain't here. We're gonna have to find him elsewhere. 2, I believe that's our first mention of the Queen. We've heard a lot about the King, Vendrick. The Queen, she's just as important.
My lord made magnificent findings on souls, an accomplishment for the ages. He vanquished 4 great ones and built this kingdom upon their souls. Our king has watched over this land since ages long ago. King Vendrick, we must fight back, or the giants will take Drangleic.
So this guy's clearly not quite in his right mind, possibly because he's a ghost. Part of him is still caught up in the war against the giants. Part of him thinks we are a trespasser. Part of him thinks that we are an honored guest. He's a little all over the place. Chronologically, at least.
The king had a dear queen, a woman of unparalleled beauty. Long ago, the queen came to us, alone, from a faraway land. She warned our lord of the looming threat across the seas, of the giants. The king crossed the ocean and defeated the giants with the queen at his side.
So there's a little something. The war with the giants wasn't Vendrick's idea. It was this mysterious woman from a faraway land who's like, hey, these giants, they might be a problem. Maybe you should do something about it. This mysterious woman we know very little about. Queen is up to something.
The king commandeered their power and created the golems. With the golems, the king created this castle to celebrate victory and to show his love, his gratitude to his queen.
So there we learn about the origins of the golems. They were created using basically what was commandeered from the giants. Not a whole lot for me to say on that, but I believe, I don't know if we ran into it, there's an item description or something that talks about a precious something that was taken from the giants in the war. And maybe it was the golems, maybe it was something else.
The queen brought peace to this land and to her king. A peace so deep dark.
Okay, this queen is being explicitly compared to the dark, the abyss. Something is not quite savory about this queen, in case you didn't get it before. Something's up.
Is this some sort of a dream? Where am I? What has happened to our castle? Who are you? And by whose permission do you stand before me?
So maybe he's caught in a loop or something, I'm not sure. But after that, he will become a merchant.
Welcome, visitor. Our guests are treated with honor. This is the way of our castle. Tell me if you should require anything.
Alright, so the big thing here that I, for my first couple of playthroughs, thought was super valuable, the Bracing Knuckle Ring +1. So it slows equipment degradation even more than the regular Bracing Knuckle Ring. And for my first couple of playthroughs, I didn't know where to get the regular one, which is in the Lost Bastille, if you forgot. So I was always super excited to get this, so I could finally use items use weapons for an extended period of time. He also sells a couple different kinds of arrows, some decent, old Rainy Life Gem, not bad. And he has a spell from Mira. Maybe he's from Mira, but it seems like everybody and their dog has spells from Mira, so I don't know. And you can also listen back to any of the storytelling that he just gave us, if you so desire.
Gone so soon. Be safe on your travels.
Now, up here is a room that in New Game is mostly just a nice visual set piece. In New Game Plus, it's got something else. I'll talk about that in a minute. But this is the throne room. This is Vendrick's throne. This is the Queen's throne. And it's empty. No one is sitting here. No one is attending to it. It's dark. It's vast. It's a very nice visual encapsulation of Drangleic as a whole. I think it's really good. In New Game Plus, I believe is when it's triggered. I could be wrong about that, but it's a thing I never do. There is a pursuer fight in here. But not just a pursuer fight. A double pursuer fight. Fighting two pursuers at once. Why? I don't know. It's silly. It's very silly. And I have no desire to fight two pursuers at once. I have no desire to fight the pursuer ever again, honestly. Let's just leave that. Also, look at that. I didn't notice this before. The top of the castle is just open and rain is pouring in. I don't know if it's designed like that. That seems like a terrible design for a castle, but okay. But it's almost like that darkness and sorrow is just seeping into the castle itself, quite literally. Oh, look at that. Look at that nice little visual thing. He's blocking the message. Kind of a neat visual quirk. Yep. All right. So yeah, this reminds me a lot of kind of Dark Anne Orlando in Dark Souls 1. Dark Anne Orlando had the bright, sunny Anne Orlando as a point of contrast, but aesthetically it's very similar. It's a castle built for very large people that was clearly great, but is past its heyday and now is dark and gloomy. Also, we got some, I guess, crests there. like the Drangleic family crest or something. Vendrick family crest. I see dragons on either side. I can't really make out much detail other than that. Maybe someone's done a deep dive on that. I'm not sure. Also, look at all the candles are not lit. They're burnt out. They've been used up. Nice detail. And I think this is a mirror that is all... It's also, you know, very dark and dirty. Yeah. Now back here, we'll run into a couple more of these Cyan Knights, I think they are. Remember early in the game when they were threatening? Now we can just crunch them. It's pretty dope. Sublime Bone Dust, good. We'll use that when we go back to Majula. And now we look at this. We got some doors that are not actually doors. I'll show you once I take care of this guy. Yeah, this is not a door. And they cannot be opened in any way. They're purely set dressing. I don't like doors like that. They bothered me in Lower Undead Burg, and they bother me here. They're meant to make the place seem bigger than it is, but I feel like it does the opposite. It makes it feel more constrained. And same deal over here. Same deal with this door. So you may be wondering, what's the deal with these enemies that are statues and then are not statues? And I was looking at item descriptions on, well, I googled Drangleic Castle lore is what I did, and then I found an item description that way. I don't know if anybody's gonna drop it, but I believe there is an item description that mentions that after Vendrick left the castle, his soldiers stayed and waited for him, waited at their posts until they turned to stone. Why did they turn to stone? I don't know. But if originally I was hypothesizing that maybe they had something to do with the creation of those mastodon creatures, but I think those are unrelated. Here's a Cyan helm. Let's talk about this. Sir Cyan was widely known as the kingdom's most leal knight, and when the giants invaded, he volunteered to lead the advance party, but he was slaughtered most dishonorably. The king commissioned replicas of Cyan's accoutrements and bestowed them to promising knights, but not long after they donned the armor did they go thoroughly mad. So one thing that confuses me, I don't know if this is an intentional choice, it says that when the giants invaded, he volunteered. And we do know that giants did eventually come to the shores of Drangleic to attack. But a reminder that Vendrick and his queen started it. They went over, they crossed the ocean to fight the giants. And then the giants retaliated. So, a little bit of selective history going on there. Also, this guy. Normally, he would activate when you're down there and would sneak up on you and attack you. It's very rude. Now, down here, we have a pretty dark hallway filled with all these guys. Now, up until this point, you know, you've been trained to be paranoid about these statues, because they could be enemies. Well, there are 8 statues here, and none of them are enemies. It's a funny little fake out. It would be extremely rude to have, like, 8 enemies all activate and kill you. That would suck. Now we enter here into a four-way crossroads. We've got big room over there with a lot of maybe statues. We've got a large door over there that will require the symbol of the king in order to proceed. We have the way we came, obviously, and we have this door here, which is my recommended path, because it has a bonfire. And this bonfire is going to be a very useful bonfire. It's a bonfire that gets you a lot of places around Drangleic Castle. But our adventures in the castle will have to continue in the next episode. For now, thank you for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.